What's up again, everybody? This is Jose Gagnon, the Super Random Guy 75, and we are now doing the very last episode of Season 5, Duncan Gets Spooked, which is the other Halloween episode that I'm doing, today. The first one was Rusty and the Boulder. So get the greatness. Hope you're going to enjoy this very last episode today, everybody, and we'll get the things rolling right away. Yeah. Oh! Yeah, man. Keep it rolling every single day, everybody. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, man. You know how we keep it going to get all this amazingness here for you. Yeah.
The little engines were busy clearing their railroad of leaves and broken branches. Peter, Sam, and Rusty often worked together. One day, Rusty helped Peter Sam to a water tower. Peter Sam felt much better after his long drink, but the freight cars were bored. Let's break away. Their loads were heavy and the couplings old. One snapped. Faster, shouted the freight cars. A sign read slow, steep bends and ravine ahead, but the silly cars never saw it. Then, it was too late. Peter Sam arrived at the scene of the disaster. His driver sighed.
I'm surprised they didn't, when they stopped at the water tower, that they didn't check the coupling to make sure that the couplings were secure. Because since the couplings were old, that's how the trucks were able to break away. Because the couplings were just super old, so they didn't make sure that those couplings were secured, and they were good couplings. So that's how the trucks were able to break away, and now they ended up falling off of the bridge and right into the big muddy swamp. And now the boss man's going to be getting super pissed off, as Peter Sam's driver is about to say right here, right now.
This was our fault. We didn't secure them properly. We'll have to get help to pull them out. Sir Topham Hatt will be very annoyed. And he was. You will work in the yards until I can trust you again. Duncan was delighted with Peter Sam's dilemma. Fancy not securing your freight cars on a hill. They'll come back to spook you and your special funnel.
Even Duncan's, even like he knows the mistake that, well, it wasn't really Peter Sam. It was mostly like his crew that, it was his driver and fireman that didn't really, make sure that the couplings were secure and they were good couplings, So, he even knows that was a stupid junk mistake.
And who's to say you're not afraid of ghosts, snapped Rusty. Ghosts? Things that go bump in the night? Rubbish! Well, I'll tell you a story that will make your funnel quiver, Rusty said. A long time ago, a little engine was returning home. It was a misty, moonlit night. Suddenly, the engine lost control and plunged over the side into the swamps below. He was never found again. But many a workman will tell you that when the moon is full, they have seen the little engine trying to get home. But he never reaches the other side. So what do you think of that, Duncan? Rubbish, replied Duncan. Never mind him, Peter Sam. He'd be frightened if he really saw a ghost. This gave Peter Sam's driver an idea. Let's play a trick on Duncan. The next day he spoke to Duncan's driver and fireman, who agreed. We'll do it tonight.
I like how, it was Peter Sam's driver and fireman that came up with the trick, to do onto Duncan. Since he didn't believe Rusty's ghost story about that train that fell off the bridge. So now they're just like, oh, we should play a trick on Duncan about, trying to make that train that fell off a bridge, trying to make it more realistic to him. So that's basically why, it's called Duncan Gets Spooked, because, after hearing the ghost story, he ends up thinking that he comes across, the ghost of the train that fell off the bridge. Even though he didn't really see any ghosts, he just saw something else that we're going to be seeing here in a couple minutes.
Duncan had to take coal cars to the slate mines and then bring cars back. Duncan's driver decided as part of the plan to cross the old iron bridge. Haunted bridge. Rubbish, snorted Duncan. It's as tame as a pet rabbit. But all the same, he kept thinking about Rusty's story. When dusk fell, he was keen to leave. If we don't go now, Scarloey will take my favorite place in the sheds. We have to collect our cars first, his driver replied. He could see their plan was working because Duncan was nervous. When night fell, they set off. The mists were rising around the old iron bridge. Duncan whistled, and the sound echoed everywhere. Then, ahead, he saw flickering lights. His driver knew they were only insects that shine brightly at night, but to Duncan they looked like an engine. Next, his driver secretly threw a rock from the cab into the ravine below. It's the ghost! Take me back!
Yeah, so he didn't see the ghost of the train that fell into the muddy swamps at all. He just saw some fireflies that made they were making the image of a train. But, it wasn't the ghost of the train itself, but he thought that he saw the ghost of it, so that's why he's freaking out right now.
Take me back, please! When Duncan reached the safety of his shed, he closed his eyes tightly. Spooked, are you, Duncan? Laughed his driver. No, I'm asleep. And Duncan refused to open his eyes. He did, though, when he thought his driver wasn't looking, just to make sure that he was still there.
So that was the very last episode of the season 5 commentaries. Hope you all enjoyed this amazing season with all the super craziness that's been going on. And like I said, next week I'll be starting off by doing the season 6 episodes of Thomas the Train, where in the very first 2 episodes we'll be meeting two brand new characters that are going to be added to the show. So hope you all are looking forward to that. Get the amazing happy times every single chance you can get, everybody. And we will see you next week. Also on Sunday, I'll be doing a very special Mario video. So look forward to that on Sunday. Get the amazing greatness, happy times. We will see you next time on the Sunday, everybody. Yeah, yeah. Whoa, yeah, man. You know how it goes here, everybody. Yeah, yeah. Woo.